Welcome back to another hour of Scotch Hour. I'm Noah.
And I'm Jesse.
All right, this is episode 246. This evening's lineup is Highlands Park The Dark, 17-year-old Scotch. The presentation, just looking at that box right there, it is pretty slick. I like it. It looks nice. It is what Jesse probably would term, or I'm putting words in his mouth here.
It's sexy.
He might not say. Oh, he did say it. It is sexy.
It's sexy. I've seen it.
It's sexy. This whole evening is about the topics that we're going to be discussing is sexy, I would say.
I think so.
All right, from there we got our shout-outs and get-it-togethers. Then our restaurant review. This place was, in my opinion, sexy.
I agree.
It's called Miya Moon.
Miya Moon.
And then from there, we'll do our Smarter Challenge. They brought it back to the theaters. The Hong Kong action classic from the 90s, John Woo's Hard Boiled. And man, that movie, it kicks ass.
It does.
All right. Real quickly, if you like our content, please like, share, and subscribe. We'd love to hear from you. If you had the Highland Park's The Dark 17-year-old, let us know what you thought of it. We'd love to hear your opinions. If you like Hong Kong movies, like Hong Kong classic movies by John Woo and some of the others, we'd love to hear your opinion about those movies, especially this one here, which is the Hard Boiled movie, which I thought is a total classic and loved it.
Scotch Reviewed.
All right. Well, Highland Park, the distillery. It's owned by Edrington. It is located there in Kirkwall, Orkney, Scotland. Founded all the way back in 1798. It is, of course, operational, producing some very fine scotches. They do have 2 wash stills, 2 spirit stills with an annual output potential of 2.5 million liters per year. Their cask types that they use are bourbon and sherry, most commonly known for, they do have some non-aged 8-mint scotches, but also their 12-year, 14, 15, 16, 18, 21, and 54-year scotches. However, they have their limited releases, including this one, The Dark, which is a 17-year-old scotch. The distillery, 1798, founded by Magnus Unsen. He was a butcher and a church officer by day and an illicit distiller by night. He was caught illegally distilling whiskey on the site, and that's all the way back in 1798. And in 1826, 30 years later, the Highland Park received an official license to distill whiskey. So even though it was founded, it wasn't legal for 30 years, but then they got their license. The name does not refer to the Scottish Highlands. It actually refers to the High Park, distinguished from a lower area nearby. Fast forward a century and a little, 109 years, and in 1937, the distillery was sold to James Grant and Sons of Glasgow. 79, another 42 years later, purchased by the Edrington Group, who has owned it since that point in time. The most notable piece of the Edrington Group is that they also own the Macallan Distillery. So pretty distinguished on both sides. This one for sure is going to be a treat. Like, even if it's not, it's going to be a treat. All right. I heard we might have some distillery tour information.
We do, but before we go there, in your research, and maybe I know I didn't do extensive research, but did it say anywhere like why they have like a Vikings type of like influence?
I did not see anything about that.
Because a lot of their stuff has like kind of like that Nordic Viking type feel. But I didn't know if you had.
I haven't seen anything, but it would be worth doing some research to find out.
Yeah. Anyways, going on to their experience. They call these experiences. They're not tours. So the first one here is called the Welcome Experience. This is their basic, I guess if you want, I'm going to call it a tour. Their basic type of tour. It's a Orkney craft experience, and here it's just like the real basic. The baseline tour, or baseline experience. It's 75 minutes long and it's 30 Great British pounds. And then you get to try the classic range and one special release. Then they have what's called the Local Legends. This one's 90 minutes long, 75 Great British pounds. Here it's a deep dive into their craft and ethos. You learn about their traditions and ingredients in this one. And their tasting here is also the classic range and one special release. Then after that, we got the cask strength one, 90 minutes long for 120 Great British pounds. Here, this is the experience for collectors and connoisseurs. They go through the crafting and the experience and process of their whiskey making there. And then you get a guided tasting of their classic and cask strength. And then we have the archive experience. Here, this is 2 hours long, 300 Great British pounds. And you get to go to restricted areas on this tour. And you sample limited whiskeys that are no longer available to the public.
All right.
Then we got the Orkney Insiders. Here, you get the all access to the Kirkwall Distillery, try special whiskeys, and a guided tasting of their high tier and vintage whiskeys. And did I say how much that was? I don't think I did. That one was 3 hours long, and it's 650 Great British pounds.
Woo!
Then they got the rare and exclusive, 3.5 hours long, and it's 1,600 Great British pounds. Here you get to learn the secrets from the masters themselves, and you get to taste their premium and rare ranges that you can't find anywhere else in the world. It's only located here, and so that is the special one there for you.
All right. Well, to answer your question, the reason that you have such a Viking influence is to celebrate the Viking rulers of centuries who ruled over the Orkney Islands. So that is why they go with that, is to recognize and to celebrate that very strong Norse history of the Orkney Islands.
I was wondering because didn't the Norse people or Nordics or whatever, I don't know, Vikings, didn't they go into Scotland and England for a while and dominated and
obviously
rape and pillage and all that stuff down there?
That's how we get the Highlander movie.
There can only be one.
Yeah, do you see they're remaking it?
Who are they getting to remake it though?
Nobody other than Superman himself. Henry Cavill.
I'm excited because here's the thing: Cavill, any project that he's in, especially if it's that has some kind of lore to it, or he makes sure that it's followed. Otherwise, he's I'm out, peace out, and then those projects fall or falter.
They've started filming.
Sweet, I'm excited. I wonder who they're gonna get to play the Spaniard.
Oh shoot, they mentioned someone, and it was, damn it. He played Gladiator, the star of Gladiator. I'm drawing a blank on his name.
Crowe?
Russell Crowe. They're saying it might be Russell Crowe.
Well, Russell Crowe would have to lose a lot of weight for that one. He could do it probably.
And then rumors, and these are all just rumors, is that Batista might play the evil lord.
Batista.
The crazy guy from Glass Onion, always popping off his gun, Dave Bautista, action guy.
Oh, that would be awesome. The guy who's
He's huge.
Yeah. He'd be the bad guy?
Yeah. Kruger.
The German, yeah. Was he German? I'm not sure what he was.
I'm not sure what nationality he was. I'm guessing he was also Nordic, kind of a Viking of some sort.
Yeah, that'd be Batista. I don't know. Dave Batista would probably that'd be interesting.
It would be an interesting. It's a pretty good match between the two because neither of them are meek characters on the screen.
You know who might make a pretty good Spaniard is that the guy who plays in The Mandalorian.
Oh, he would be funny for sure. He would be.
It was a Pablo Pascal or something like that. Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he would make a pretty good Spaniard.
He would, but he's got to be like a foot shorter than those other two. That would be an interesting one to see. All right.
Sorry for the whole distraction there.
We'll get back to the fact that celebrated the Norse. They do have their water source as the Katie Maggie Spring, located on the Orkelburn, which provides, of course, hard water, so rich in minerals to really celebrate the flavors of their scotches. All right, so we break into the presentation here. If you can't tell on screen, this is a sturdy box, and that's just the first one. Nice, thick cardboard box. But, if you're going to do something and you're going to charge hundreds and hundreds of dollars for it, you do it right. So inside the box, the first box, you have a bag with another box in it. All right, so then you've got your nice black drawstring bag to keep the scotch further safe and away from the elements. And inside of there, you've got the wooden crate that holds the actual bottle. They do have, because these are very limited, a little ticket in there that tells you who packed it and everything. So nice. Going the extra inch, so to speak. The case itself does have some interesting writing upon it. It is real wood with a nice metal latch. Rotates up. It's pretty badass. I just gotta say, the dark 52.9% ABV. Definitely a nice sturdy crate. With some real woodwork on it. The bottle is also pretty sweet and significant. Again, those Norse symbols, emblems, the glass itself made with pride on Orkney. Well done. Nice metal plaque down low. They have gone the extra inch for this fun Scotch presentation. I'm digging it. If you can tell, they've really gone the extra mile. All right. Man, so much packaging. Gonna have to move some stuff over. As we get to the bottle, we'll see what they do for a topper. It's
already a 5. Even if it's a plastic top and press cork, it's a 5. It's a 5 already, for me. At least for me.
All right.
I'm not sure about you. I'm shooting my load right here. It's a 5.
I think it actually is a plastic top. Oh, no, it's wood. The wood grain is there. It's fairly smooth. They almost got it real black, but it's a very, very dark brown. And, oh, that's a tight seal. That's not cool. That's such a tight seal. I'm going to need a corkscrew.
Doom, doom, doom.
All right. There's a fail. I'll be right back.
That's the first time on the show.
Probably shouldn't have twisted and turned it at an angle. I'm sure I fucked that up. All right. This is why you play nice. Well, it was a solid cork until I split her in half. And it is a solid wood top. Guess that means we have to finish it. It's got a good nose. The nose knows.
Thank you, sir. Thank you again, sir.
Yes. That's got a pretty rich color.
Yeah, it does.
All right, we're going to put what's left of this little nub. Oh, it still closes.
All right.
Just the tip, because that's all that's left.
Time for our warp speed and tasty notes.
Cheers.
All right, Highland Park The Dark, 17-year special release, limited release, I guess, from what I understand. Hell, man, if you get your grubby little hands on one of these suckers, even just for the presentation in itself, it'll be worth it. But the Scotch will not disappoint either, in my opinion. I'm just like, having even jumped into anything, you can already tell I love this. First off, I've always really liked a lot of Highland Parks. Like, I guess I'm gonna call them like feature scotches, because they always have like really great like packaging. They have this like really cool like fire and ice one, and then there's like a light version of this one, and all the packaging is like really crazy intricate on those with some really detailed stuff. So obviously the presentation gets a 5 out of 5. I would even give it a couple more bonus points here for the presentation, but we don't really have bonus points here. But anyways, the color, 5 out of 5. Here, this has like a nice deep, like I would say amber color. If I was gonna say if I was going to match it to hard boiled, this is, I don't even know how to come up with something to really match it other than maybe like it's the deep ambers of the fires of from the hospital explosions or something. I don't know. I'm reaching here. So, but yeah, it's a nice, wonderful color. Love it. The nose for me, I have like notes of raisin and plum with dark chocolate, toffee, definitely some like orange zest in there with clove, walnut, and like maraschino cherries, like a sweet cherry. I love the nose. The nose was my high point for me. Gave it 29 out of 30 points. I really dug the nose. The palate, it was full body and creamy with ash tones, notes of like raisin and the cherry and the orange. Also some toasted almond and spice, which are the Christmas spices of cinnamon, nutmeg, and clove. And honestly, like the clove for me was like the first pop of those spices that I really got out of it, and I really enjoyed it. Gave that 28 points. My finish, my first words I wrote out here was ashed oak. So it had ashed oak. So it's like an ashy oak flavor with some cinnamon spice. But yet after like that initial like cinnamon spice hits, you start to get the more of that creamy filling in your mouth with some dark chocolate notes. And it's a very long finish. I enjoyed the finish. It was my weak spot at 27. So 5, 29, 28, 27. I think that actually is 94 points, not 93. So, Black Tie Affair. Yeah. Game night. No. Horde status. Yes. Shelf. Yeah. Definitely spotting your shelf. I probably missed something here of one of our options. But.
Victory Dram.
Yes, totally. Well, yeah, it is a victory dram.
It really is.
It really is a victory dram. This is like a special occasion victory dram. Like you finally lock down that one The Great White Buffalo. You locked down your Great White Buffalo and you nailed it. Victory!
God wills it.
God wills it. Dick-a-hoot. Is that what it was? Or?
Something like that.
All right. Yeah, cheers.
All right. Well, much like Noah, I'm digging the presentation. They start off with the simple cardboard box, go to that black bag. Then they go to the wood box that is beautifully etched, and the bottle, which is absolutely fantastic. 5 out of 5 on presentation, even though I managed to angle and pull the cork and break it in doing so. I did love the presentation. Color! I don't know what else to say about this color other than sherry. It is Odin's blood-covered victory gold. There's definitely a red hue in there. That sherry color is fantastic. 5 out of 5 for the color. On the nose! Oh man, on the nose again. This is definitely a heavy sherried Scotch that I love. I love a great sherry. So sherry is the front of the nose and everything sherry. There's orange, some fruit, in particular cherries. I get a little bit of cocoa. The slightest amount of sweet peat, and then the spice. The nose was my second highest score at 28. However, my favorite part of this Scotch was absolutely the palate at a 29. It is that sherry, sweet and creamy front. The tannins kick in. There's some of those spices, clove, cinnamon, a little nutmeg. I also get a little toasted almond. It is a little bit spicy, but all in a very sweet and creamy way. Then a little bit of chocolate, coffee, and peat kicking on the palate. Again, for me, that was the best part. 29. The one thing I would also say about the palate is, for being so sweet and creamy and full of tannins and spice, it is robust. It is fantastic. The finish is long with more of that warming spice, orange, a hint of tea and anisette. Absolutely delicious. Again, those spices are in there, not overpowering. At this point, the nutmeg comes through just a little bit more. So 27 on the finish. Overall, a 94. Is this black tie worthy? Absolutely. Celebratory black tie worthy. Game night? Man, if it's a great game night, if you really love your friends, yes. Is there a spot on the shelf for this? If you can get your hands on it, yes. If you're a sherry lover. And as you may or may not know, a lot of the highest rated scotches actually are very sherry forward. The 12-year Dalmore, for example, this year's 12-year Dalmore, the sherry cask finish, got a 96 points. That's
nice.
Phenomenal, because that's what the scotches, almost 3 times as expensive, are getting. And actually, that's higher than their 18-year, which got a 95. So really great there. Yes, spot on the shelf. Is this a victory dram? Absolutely, in every way imaginable. Winning, losing, winning the lottery, whatever it may be. This is absolutely a winning Scotch. I love it.
It's time for our shout-outs.
One thing I do want to say, I want to give shout-outs to all the Formula One teams who are putting it out there with all these very significant car changes, both with aerodynamic packages and moving parts and new engines, hybrids, so to speak, with the electric and the alternative fuels. I think it's great that companies, I'm sure a large part of it's a write-off so they can do all this testing, and ultimately, might make it to our road going cars. Lots of their technology has over the decades, but just really that spirit of competition going into a year that is so full of unknown. I don't care if it's Red Bull partnered with Ford or Cadillac partnered with Ferrari, all of these different companies, Audi doing their thing, and then of course the usuals, Mercedes and Ferrari trying, it sounds like some very new things with their engines. I love it. I love the competition and the risk, and I hope you know whether or not, Ferrari, whether or not it's a winning or losing year for you, you've still won in my hearts, being the one works manufacturer that has been in Formula One every year they have raced on this planet.
That's a really good shout out. And it was like they were like releasing their libraries this past week, and yeah, I'll just second yours. And then also on top of that, an extra add-on to your shout out for Max Verstappen, kind of dominating in the Barcelona
wet weather.
Yeah, wet weather. What do they call? What did you say they're called? Where they do those testings?
Oh, the shakedowns.
Shakedown, yeah. The Barcelona shakedown. So
Restaurant review.
Yeah.
This week's restaurant review. All right. So first of all, we knew Hard Boiled was a movie we loved. That's the smarter challenge. We're going to get to that here shortly. Second of all, we didn't know we were going to love this Scotch so much. So for me, that's another win, much like Hard Boiled turned out to be. But the real surprise here was going for a Chinese restaurant, trying to keep the themes going with some sort of semblance of belonging. And Miya Moon in Lone Tree, a Chinese restaurant, was an absolute pleasant surprise. You want to kick it off, or you want me to go for it?
Yeah, I'll let you kick it off.
All right. Well, first things first. So this is just west of I-25 on Lincoln there in Lone Tree. And the parking lot, the exterior, they're not terrible. They're also not great. Not the sexiest part of this trip. So the exterior got the low score for sure. It got a 6. However, bouncing to the interior, the place is not huge by any means, but it was well done. They had some anime playing on a giant screen, a gorgeous bar. Actually, it's a sexy bar area, and some fun decor, including a night monkey in shining armor. That was fun to see and enjoy. The seating was comfortable. And it was conducive to great food. Overall, I gave the interior a 9. Service could have been a little bit better, but it also did not disappoint. We were seated promptly. There was one point right after we got our beverages that our waitress, who was giving us a few minutes, gave us a few more than a few minutes. But other than that, the service was prompt. The food all came out hot, and it was great. Service got an 8 from me. The food. All right. We started with the snow crab cheese wontons, followed by the eggplant in garlic sauce. And then my entree was the black pepper beef fillet, which was a black peppered beef and noodles with a delicious sauce. Fantastic. Starting off with the snow crab cheese wontons. They were cute. They were a little small, but the flavor kicked ass. It was definitely hard boiled there. Fantastic. Right now, rated my number one cheese wonton, crab cheese wonton of any establishment I've ever had. They were amazing. The eggplant in garlic sauce was delicious, perfectly cooked. It was also, again, perfectly cooked, and it was the low point. Going to my black pepper beef fillet. The beef was tender and full of flavor. The pepper, big pieces freshly cracked. The noodles and sauce were divine. I gave the food a 10. We've been lucky I absolutely gave the food a 10. Value. So it could have been higher. The prices weren't expensive. $22 for my meal was worth every penny to me. You throw in a couple appetizers, it starts to creep up. The snow crab wontons or the eggplant, $10 a pop. But overall, the only things that it could have been improved for overall value would have been the exterior and the service that could have been a hair better. Value an 8 overall, an 8.2 for the score for me. Would I meet a friend there? Absolutely. It was delicious. Would I take a date there? Absolutely. Like, it is absolutely a sexy little restaurant. And for me now, and Noah shared a bite of his dish, which I think became my new favorite, and he'll go into the details there. For that particular dish, this is a destination for me.
All right, so Jesse nailed it on the appetizers. Yeah, they were phenomenal. That snow crab cheese wonton, that is now my new favorite crab cheese wonton. At least in this area, it was phenomenal, great. The only drawback, in my opinion, you get 4 of them as the appetizer, and I really wanted more. The other appetizer, which was the eggplant and garlic sauce, is that what it was? That was very tasty as well. I loved it. I think it's the when you're able to get the sauce on it, because like it was kind of like a sticky sauce almost. So when you got like a good bite with the sticky sauce, that was a really good appetizer as well. And you actually got a lot of the eggplant, which I was surprised after seeing like we only got 4 wontons. So I was surprised like how much more you got of the eggplant. But it was also delicious. I ordered the Mongolian beef. The steak was cooked perfectly. The vegetables that were with it had great flavor, and it was just a wonderful dish. Definitely my new favorite Mongolian beef spot. And then they give you the choice of white, brown, or fried rice. And their fried rice was on point because nowadays a lot of Chinese restaurants, when they do the fried rice, they don't have like any of the peas or the carrots, or if they do have that, they don't have the egg. This had all of it. This had like everything you expect from like a good fried rice, and it was delicious. I loved my meal. Can't rave about it more.
So good.
Now to go to the points here, outside was 5. I think the parking lot kind of sucks. The inside, I love the inside. The inside was awesome. When you first walk in, you do get to see a statue of the Monkey King, which is Sun Wukong, I think. Wukong. So whatever, how you pronounce that. But anyways, they have a statue of that Monkey King right there. I loved how they had a big screen, like anime playing in the background. Unfortunately, I sat opposite of the anime, but it was probably for the best because I'm sure I'd have been too enthralled with watching anime as I was eating dinner. So it's probably for the best. I was sitting in the other direction. I really loved my food. Anyways, the inside, it's a 9. I love the way the bar was set up, the lighting, and all that stuff. Even in the bathrooms, they had like some extra stuff there too. They had like floss, dental floss in there, and Q-tips and other things. So lotion and. So yeah, they have like a little bit of an extra mile. I'm surprised there wasn't an attendant in there that you had to pay for. But it was pretty nice. I liked it. The interior. So that got a 9. The food, like I said, I think the food is great. Unfortunately, like I didn't give it a 10. But if I were to compare just simply with all the Chinese food in this area, it would have been a 10. And unfortunately, I didn't do that. I gave it a 9. And the service here, I thought the service, it wasn't like the service was bad, but it wasn't good either. Very impressed with the manager's maybe slash owner slash cook. He was working his tail off. There's really only like, it seemed like 2 waiters, and they seemed inconsistent. Like maybe like they were a little bit rushed. So they probably could have used like one more person. But anyways, I gave the service a 7. And because of the service, that dropped the overall value down. And so I gave the value an 8. And here I have a grand total of 7.6. Would I meet a date there? Yes. Would I meet a friend there? Yes. Will I go back ever again? Yes. Is it the destination? Yes. There's so many positives about this place. It's great. And honestly, it probably deserves a better overall score than 7.6. But yeah, it's a great place.
Smarter Challenges.
This week's Smarter Challenge. All right. A movie review as it made it back to theaters. They recently, this past November, re-released it on high definition, ultra high definition, 4K Blu-ray discs. 2 discs, the 4K and the Blu-ray in a packet with a little booklet and the whole 9 yards. Hard Boiled is a 1992, so it's an important year in life. Hong Kong action film directed by John Woo, who pleasantly and surprisingly enough plays a small role as a retired detective in a bar lounge area that gives our main actor some advice. And the cast is, of course, well done. Chow Yun-fat plays Inspector Tequila Yun. We got Tony Leung Chioi as Alan, who is an undercover cop posing as a high-ranking triad assassin. And at the beginning of the movie, he takes a minute to figure it all out. But he does a phenomenal job. Chow Yun-fat does a phenomenal job. And even Teresa Mo, who plays Teresa Chang, or girlfriend, throughout the movie, does a really good job with her role. So the reasons for this movie, it's got to be a cult classic, at least for me and the number of guys that were in the theaters watching this film. But more importantly, even though when it was released in 1992 in Hong Kong and it didn't get the best reviews there, when it came over to the West here in America, it got amazing reviews talking about all of its action sequences and what they were done and doing. John Woo also wrote this, and part of the storyline here was this intent to get away from all of the mobster and gangster movies that had been out and go to their version almost of a Western where there's a classic hero, a detective, the good guys, focus on the good guys as opposed to the mobsters or the assassins. Not time for The Godfather, but time for 2 undercover cops or detectives doing a really good job. Do you have anything else you want to kick in about any nostalgia or what you think of first when you think of Hard Boiled?
Well, this brings back a lot of fond memories. The first time I came across this movie was from one of my fraternity brothers. Introduced it to our fraternity. As I mentioned, we then eventually made it into a drinking game. But overall, like, all of us loved it. It was a fantastic, awesome movie. And it definitely was the pinnacle of kind of like Hong Kong, at least from my perspective from the West here, pinnacle of like the Hong Kong cinema back then, of the like shoot 'em ups, if you will.
Yeah.
And I thought I loved it. I've always the first time I saw it, I was like, this is an incredible movie.
I agree. I also, from the moment I saw it, loved it. And it's interesting because it's kind of written as a Cantonese Dirty Harry. This badass cop who argues with his captain and has a girl, but it's always on and off the rocks. And he just really is a solid man who takes a few risks maybe he shouldn't, but at the end of the day, someone you trust to get the job done.
I think he's more like a John McClane.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think he's more like Die Hard. rather than Dirty Harry.
I only say Dirty Harry because Die Hard typically always takes place in one setting.
Oh, that's true.
And this takes place over Hong Kong, a lot like the Westerns, where there was like a chunk of the Wild West that they were traversing.
There's one thing I did note in this, and I remember it being brought up too way back when, because the fraternity brother that brought it up to our attention, he was like really big into that kind of culture and stuff like that, and he was talking about like how the triads did use women and children and things like hospitals as like a shield to their dirty operations. And,
so do terrorists.
Yeah. So, well, and it was funny because like I remember hearing on the news recently, probably within the past like week or 2 weeks, how people have been using their kids in these so-called protests in Minnesota.
Peaceful protests.
In Minnesota, they're using kids and they're hiding behind the kids basically as human shields. And then it made me think to myself, if you ever want to ask yourself if you are the bad guy or who are the bad guys, I think a good starting point to figure this out is, are you using women and children in places like hospitals and schools as shields? Because if you are, you're probably a bad guy.
Or even just out in public. I would be appalled by any parent putting their kid as you call a shield in front of them versus shielding their kid. Me walking down the same street, I am trying to distance my kid from the threat, not put them in front of me.
Well, why would you take your children to a extreme cold weather and in an environment that would be volatile? That is you are using your child for exploitation there.
Yeah,
but anyways,
it's evil. It literally comes down to evil.
Yeah, it does literally come down, and that's when I was just saying, like, this movie when I was watching it last on Monday night, and I seen like how they were using like the children and then like the hospital and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, it just solidified in my mind. Like, if you ever wonder who the bad guys are, this is what bad guys do. And like, doesn't matter like how anybody wants to kind of like justify it. That's typically what bad people do, what evil people do.
Yeah. And Anthony Wong in particular plays the character Johnny Wong. I love how like almost all of their names have part of their real name in it. Anthony
Makes
Wong
it easy
plays
to remember their
Johnny
character
Wong.
names.
Teresa Mo plays Teresa Chang. Like, it's great. But that's a really good point as far as sometimes what makes a movie great is keeping it painfully real.
Yeah.
Which I think is also part of what makes Die Hard great, is the painful reality of how relationships, you talk about McClane, even though he and his wife aren't together, that's his weakness. That's his weak spot. And he still would do anything to save her, and does almost die doing just that. It's interesting. And then there's the opposite, who are putting all these people at risk. It's literally the same as taking hostages. It's a human shields, and definitely a sign of weakness, or at least evil.
Yeah. So that was kind of like the big impression I got, for what it's worth, I guess.
For myself, I loved finally seeing it in the big theater.
Oh, that too, yeah.
I don't know that it was that much better, but some of my favorite scenes stuck out so much better. The marina scenes really popped, and the cinematography really showed its true colors. I loved that.
And that's one thing that John Woo is really known for, I would say, is his cinematography, especially like when he gets more into like Hollywood and he has like the bigger budgets to work with, or I should say the Hollywood type budgets. you could see like all that stuff come more into play. But the great foundations were laid like in movies like Hard Boiled, and it was great to see it on the big screen because I never got to see it on the big screen. Like you said, like was it that much better? I don't know, but the being in that type of environment where you're at a big screen seeing it, it does bring like some new life to the movie, which made it all that much more enjoyable.
All right. So whether or not you see it in the theater, we're going to say for the theater because it's probably the same. One or two favorite scenes, or at least most memorable.
Well, I have to say the part that caught me when I first saw the movie, still catches me every time, has got to be the opening scene in the restaurant. Where like all shit, just like all the shit all go like shit hits the fan, everything goes like you just like, what the fuck am I watching? Like all this shooting, what's going on? And like it just starts off with a bang. And
literally.
Yeah, and it's just like a total awesome roller coaster ride from there, which is great. I loved it. That is a great scene, and then not as necessarily as memorable, I guess, in like or like that in your face type of impression. I think it has to revolves around the cranes in two spots. One, when they are talking on the boat together, Tequila and Alan, and he's like, what's up with all these, like, what's up with these cranes? And Alan's like, I really hate making cranes, but this helps me remember all the people I had to kill. And it's not because, and he's not a bad guy because he's an undercover cop.
Killing worse people,
but in order not to, like, blow his cover, he had to kill people, and this was like a way for him to like, maybe some of these people were worse people, maybe they weren't. They never really, I don't think they ever really go into like who he had to kill. And you could tell like he had compassion even for some of the people in the mob, like his the mob boss that he was working for, I think Uncle Johnny.
Yes,
is that what it was? He's like, hey, why don't you step down now?
Like, go to Hawaii,
just step down, just leave, like. And basically he was trying to protect them because he knew what was going to happen. And so I think when he first talks about the cranes, that like it had like a whole lot of meaning right there. And then to follow up, like at the end of the movie, when he I guess they didn't really leave it to mystery because but when they leave like the hotel scene, you don't know if he's alive or dead because you see him kind of like. Well, I guess you kind of did because there was that shootout at the end. But any case, you see him sailing away on his boat to go to Iceland, I believe it was, and he's finally released from, I guess, his own personal prison, if you will, because of him having to be an undercover agent, and now he doesn't have to hold that secret anymore. And then he makes a comment like the only people that know about his birthday is basically the file there at the police station. So basically nobody knows him. So as he's sailing away, he's like dropping those cranes into the ocean. And I think it kind of shows the release that he didn't have to carry that burden anymore, that he's finally free to be who he truly is and wants to be. So I thought that was a very powerful and great ending.
I agree. I love the ending. Someone getting their freedom. Also, the fact that an undercover anything, and when I say this, the fact that it tells a story that an undercover officer could be paid in a way to disappear and enjoy the rest of their life after risking their life to take down a chunk of the triad. Was a beautiful thing to see. And it would be the same for me if it was someone from the Navy, the Marines, the Army, a police officer, anyone who's put their life in risk for that long that nobody knows who they are, has had to literally live a fake, a dual life. That's just amazing to me. They should be rewarded. I thought that was great. One of the scenes that's always caught me, though, and this is what got me hooked. The first time I watched it, again, this is 1992. You got to remember, things were different. And I'm not saying movies like Die Hard, Commando, Terminator, they all have their panache as well. But the scene that hooked me was when Alan is going into a library. And the little things that are common in movies and materials today that weren't common back there, where he shows as he's entering that he's not leaving fingerprints on anything. He's using a handkerchief or a pocket square to open doors and go through things. But just the way he walks with confidence. And, you know, like, honestly, he's stylish. He's cool. He was walking around like he's one of the duo from Miami Vice. He's just walking around like a badass into this library, finding the book that has the hidden gun, goes and kills another bad guy, puts the book back. That's the part I'm kind of most curious about. Like, why not check it out or something? Like, don't leave any evidence. Ultimately, he doesn't want to be caught with the gun on his way out if something got happening. There was somewhat of a witness. But that whole scene leading into it where I'm like, all right, someone here is meticulous. But it really ties in well then when Tequila comes in and they're all looking at it. And Tequila, the first thing he realizes is that there's a splot of blood on the table and there's a square missing from it. And he goes and finds that their same book. And what I love there is that tied to me Alan and Tequila, as far as Alan had to go find it in the first place. Tequila also found it based on the basics, but they both walked the same line. They both processed the data that they were collecting as they were going. And that was the first time where I'm like, okay, is this guy a good guy or a bad guy? And then later on you find out he's a good guy.
Right.
That was absolutely one of my favorite. And then to your point, the marine scenes, the cranes, very impactful. And I think the one that the most impactful is when he is explaining, like, I don't want to make these cranes, as you said it. He's like, but I make one for every life I have to take. And I'm still trying to wrap my head around it, how that can be the balance point for anyone who's doing something he didn't want to do. He makes it very evident he doesn't want to kill people, but he's so deep in, he doesn't have a life outside of that. That's why it's okay to go to Iceland, that he's doing what he has to do.
Well, I think back then in Iceland, and probably still does, I think they had like a much higher women to men ratio. But I guess if he waited a few more years, he could just go to Japan. They have a high women to men ratio.
I was going to say he's also only 5 foot tall. I'm imagining these Icelandic Norse women are like beasts. Probably not. Probably not.
Who knows?
I'm just saying.
I guess right now
that's actually my dream, right? You go to Iceland and they're all like 6 foot redhead supermodels.
Apparently, Japan has an issue with that right now too. Like a lot of women to men ratio.
Well, yeah. Now you just got to buy that house, which was also Tequila's problem. I love the movie, and again, if I was to compare that, we're talking 1992 to 2026, so we're talking 34 years in the making.
That was 1992's version of John Wick.
Yeah, it was badass. It really was. I loved it. It's good fun. And if I can get my hands on one, I am going to buy one of the re-released ones that came out this past November. But they're still hard to find, even though it came back out, because it's a Hong Kong movie and where it's distributed and all this kind of stuff. You can get it on Amazon right now. They have like 4 copies available, but it starts at $79. Yeah, it's
honestly, I didn't know about the Blu-ray
4K.
right away because I think the first thing that came out saying that they were just gonna do it on digital release. So I did the digital release, and if I would have known that, I probably would have gotten on the hard copy.
It's all a matter of being ready. It's just like F1 the movie Steelbook. I still want it.
I feel slighted about that one. I feel like I was misled.
I know.
I swear to this day, the ad said it wasn't going to come out until
Thanksgiving.
And then it came out earlier, and I'm like, who the F? Like, how did I get that so messed up?
Yeah,
I mean, ultimately, I have to blame myself, but still, like, I swear to God, I saw things that said, like, Thanksgiving weekend.
Yeah, I'm right there with you because I remember us talking about like it might be cold as hell, but we want to do a movie showing outside, and then the movie was out already. It's like, what happened?
Yeah, like where did I drop the ball on this one? Like I think it was like I don't know. I don't have an explanation for it. But anyhow.
All right. Yeah, that's really all I had for Hard Boiled. Good quality entertainment. For me, a cult classic going along with what may be part of some of the movies from your potential next Smarter Challenge. But definitely one of those movies where worth watching once in a while and enjoying. I don't know if I was a kid today if I would dig it, though.
You don't think so?
I don't know. I think part of it was seeing that in 92 was cool.
It was cool back in 92.
It was just next level. The way they dressed, the way they carried themselves, the undercover, the real relationships. I loved it.
So I think it's important, though. I think when we talk about this movie here, that it does set up basically a series of U.S. based movies.
Okay.
Which is after Hard Boiled, John Woo then finally comes to Hollywood and makes Hard Target with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
And
then it's Broken Arrow.
Yeah, which I also loved.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like the best movie, but it was good entertainment.
It was good entertainment. Then, Once a Thief. And then comes, actually, I think, I'm going to say the pinnacle of his U.S.-based movies, which is Face Off. I think that is like one of my all-time favorite movies with John Travolta and
Nick Cage.
Nick Cage. There's another movie he comes out with, and then we have Mission Impossible 2.
Which, that's where I get torn, whether or not Mission Impossible 2 or Face Off is better, because I love Mission Impossible 2.
Well, yeah, in Mission Impossible 2, there you can see a lot of John Wick's influence. You got the white doves. You have like the whole motorcycle play, and yeah, it was incredible. Then he comes out after that, he does Wind Talkers, another World War II Iwo Jima Nick Cage movie. Then there's Paycheck, which was good.
Mel Gibson. Yeah. Right? Paycheck?
No, that's Ben Affleck. Paycheck. It's where it's like he's working on some kind of like doing some backward technology, and it's like time shifting or whatever.
Okay.
There's that. And so he's made some like really like pretty good movies. So
yeah,
nothing recent though. Nothing like, I think his most recent one, it says here, is The Killer in 2024, but I haven't seen that, so I don't know.
Oh, he made that because he did a Killer in 1989.
Yeah, it says The Killer 2024.
Oh, so he must. I didn't know he did his own remake. I probably would have seen it because he did The Killer originally in 1989, and then he also did A Better Tomorrow in that same like 90s period.
It's on Peacock, so I think it might have been straight to Peacock type of thing.
Okay.
But it looks pretty cool. Oh, he did Silent Night.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that was his movie.
All right.
Gosh, I wish I would have known that when I saw the movie.
Have to go back and watch and look for some of those cues.
Yeah. Well, the weird part is like, I think some of those cues that he did in his younger career, I don't think he's quite doing it as much in his later years. Because I think if I, maybe it's there, but I would have thought that either me or you, if the Doves were in Silent Night, we would have seen it.
I mean,
picked up on it right away.
I definitely need to go back and watch that now. It kind of makes sense though, because when I think of a lot of his movies,
it makes total sense. I remember when I first saw it, I'm like, I don't know about this movie, but now that I know John Woo directed it, it makes a lot more sense.
well, yeah, John Woo's characters, his star characters, are almost always, whether or not they have a reason to be, they're almost always vengeful.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I need to rewatch that.
That last sip, it's all gone now, but because of like I think how long it's been open for or whatever.
Cream.
I think
orange.
that spiciness is like all mild out.
Yes.
It's
cream,
not as bitter or
orange.
sharper. It's like now it's like this
More
is,
chocolate.
yeah. All the great flavor profiles are coming out way more.
Damn you, Scotch gods.
Exactly. I don't know if you want to say anything else. If not, then I'll go on to next.
Yeah,
week's.
no, I think that's it. I say go see it, watch it once. I do think if there were 20 movies where I'm like all-time manliest movies, this is one of my 20.
I agree.
And it's probably in my top 10.
I think the other, I guess like the other big thing to note is that even you could tell by the fashion attire was very 90s because you had the much bigger suits and stuff like that as opposed to like the skin tight fitting suits now.
Yeah, look, I can see your vein. Oh, no, that's your penis. Never mind.
Yeah, definitely like when you see like Chow Yun Fat running is like his clothes because like back then the clothes were like baggier or bigger. Like it's just like they looked like more poofed out and stuff as he was running and stuff.
It's coming back.
Yeah. All right. So as promised, not to all of you, but Jesse knows. Next week's Smart Challenge will be to put our top 3 Kevin Smith movies together. So we'll do that, and our the restaurant review will be slightly different because of Kevin Smith's movies. One movie in particular called Mallrats. The only requirement for our dinner and is to go to a food court. So originally it started off as for us to go to eat Sbarro pizza, but the whole idea for this one, we could go at the same time or at different times, doesn't really matter. But the whole idea for this dinner is we have to eat food at the mall and get something from the food court.
Dude, I say you up in a notch. We have to eat food at the food court in the mall and spend at least 2 hours there. They spent a day there.
All right, 2 hours at the mall.
2 hours. Like, what would we do for 2 hours? Like, am I going to hit a Wetzel's Pretzels and dinner? Am I going to get a drink? Am I going to find some chocolates? Am I just going to go shopping? What am I looking at? Is my head going to fly through the wall into a changing room? God,
well, here's the thing. Like, I mean, I remember hanging out at the malls for quite a bit of time.
It was cool.
Yeah, way back when it was cool. So, all right, yeah, we'll put an hour stipulation with it too. You got to do 2 hours, and then you have to eat something from the food court.
I love it.
So we don't necessarily, like I said, we don't necessarily have to do the dinner part together. That could be part of your 2 hour experience.
I mean, hell, man, we can find a time. I'll go to the mall. I haven't been in so long. I'll have fun. Like I love going into the watch shops and looking at expensive watches. It'll be fun.
Yeah. I think this will be kind of a fun.
I also will people watch like a motherfucker.
Definitely people watch. You gotta people watch.
Yeah. And looking at the different generations and the different speeds, like, okay, look at this.
And you gotta talk to one of those freaking hustlers like in the middle of the walking areas that are trying to sell you like some kind of like Egyptian sand or something.
Hey, man, like, will this make it bigger? My wallet. What were you thinking?
Those people are hustlers, man.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's going to be fun. definitely going to hit up some new stores. That's for sure. A lot of the stores in the malls have changed since the last time I shopped in a mall.
It's been forever since I've been to one. Like I remember, like usually I would go to like an Eddie Bauer or, especially if we're going to like, I'll probably end up going to Park Meadows.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's.
Oh, I'm definitely going to Park Meadows. I'm going to do it up, man. I'm thinking like Nordstrom's restaurant for a drink to start off, to kick it off, and then go look at some shoes, which that's a lot like I've been in the mall a few times, but I've always been very like beeline it to pick up one or two things, and it's usually shoes at Nordstrom. But yeah, man, after I get my relaxing drink, then I'm going to go chill.
But the food, the humane meal has to come from the food court.
Oh, yeah, dude. No, I'm going to the food court. I'm hitting up Sparrow. I'm hitting up Panda. I'm going to go to like 2 or 3 of those. So I may make an 8-hour trip out of this thing. Like, I may be impressed. I may be like, no, you need to come pick me up. I had a drink. I shouldn't drive. Maybe just Uber it over there.
You gotta do at least one homage to Jay and Silent Bob at some point there in the mall.
Guess I'm wearing black and flying like Batman. Woo!
Just got,
I think Jesse forgot to attach the rope.
Sitting against the wall, just like watching people walk by.
Fuck.
All right, if we're starting to do the show here. So real quickly, if you made it this far, thank you very much.
I'm going to do it in front of a bunch of people. Move something with my mind.
I love when we try to do the force and they finally like someone bumps or whatever, the videotape hits his
to his head.
All right. If you made it this far, thank you very much. We greatly appreciate all of you who watch us on YouTube and Rumble and listen to us on many different podcast platforms. Please like, share, and subscribe. Leave us some notes down below or whatever comments letting us know what you think about the Highland Park The Dark, if you've had it, or any Highland Park for that matter, as well as John Woo and the Hard Boiled movie, or any of John Woo's movies. We'd love to hear your comments about those. And with that, Jesse's going to give us some of those special nuggets before we leave this.
Remember, life is great. That does not always mean it's going to be easy. And as I continue to learn, the difficult times tend to make I don't want to say easy, but the good times are that much better. Also, when you do drink, if you do drink responsibly. Please do not drink and drive. Respect yourself and those others with all of the life that they should be able to live. And until next week, when we play Batman with Kevin Smith, Scotchman. Cheers.
We hope you enjoyed this evening's episode of Scotch Hour. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. Also, if you have not done so already, please become a Patron member, with memberships starting as low as $1 a month. Thank you, and hopefully you have a wonderful evening.